What's going on, folks? It's your Sports Wit host here, Levon Whitaker. I'm here for another episode of Sports Wit, and I have a special guest with us today, my guy Josh Tidwell. How you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Back again to beat you down one more time.
Oh, man. Well, hey, look. He come with the enthusiasm already, so it's only right.
I gotta bring that energy.
It's only right. I'm gonna let you go first, man, with these NFL predictions because look, this is week 7 of football. Y'all know I love my predictions, so I'm gonna let this brother right here go first. And since he came with enthusiasm, he threw a punch. I'm gonna go ahead and duck and then come and hit it with the right on the second hook, and I'm gonna hit him with my predictions after that. We're gonna see who wins the battle here. So I'm gonna let you go first, man. I'm gonna start the time right now.
All right, man. So we gonna start out right. We got the Raiders versus the Packers. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Packers on that one. Raiders been showing a lot more better potential out there. Been playing a lot better. But unfortunately, running up against Aaron Rodgers and that bad defense they got going on out there in Green Bay at home. So I'm going to go with the Packers there. Rams versus Falcons. Jalen Ramsey getting the matchup against Julio Jones. I'm going to have to go with the Rams on that one. Coming off a bad loss. Actually, a couple bad losses there for the Rams. Falcons, they just can't even find their way right now. I think they're about to go in the tank zone here in a minute. But we're going to go ahead and go with the Rams there on the road. 49ers over the Redskins on the road. Washington still trying to find their way, still trying to figure out their identity. Just let go of Jay Gruden. I don't think they're doing anything this season. I think they're looking at the Dolphins' mind view. They're trying to tank right now. So we're going to go with the 49ers over there, over the Redskins on the road. Vikings losing on the road to Detroit against the Lions. Lions got job last week against Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of bad calls there. I think they're going to make a statement here at home. I think the Lions may win this one big, too, at home.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of feeling that way. We're going to see, though. Colts over the Texans. I'm really feeling the Colts beating the Texans this week. Coming off a bye week, had extra time to prepare. And T.Y. just owned the Texans, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Shit.
But I'm going to go ahead and go with the Colts over that one. Jags over the Bengals. Jags on the road. Bengals not really looking to do anything this year. They're kind of just filling up the stat sheet with a couple of people. Literally a couple of people. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Jags on the road against the Bengals there. Ravens and Seahawks, big time game here. Russell Wilson's been scorching hot, man. I'm gonna have
MVP.
I'm gonna have to stick with him.
MVP.
I'm gonna have to stick with my man Russell. He is my fantasy quarterback right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Russell at home. At home, that 12-man crowd, you know that's tough. That's tough. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Seahawks. No bias there. Saints over the Bears on the road. Teddy Bridgewater. I'm gonna go ahead and say, man, the Bears may be looking to sign him next year when he's a free agent. So I'm gonna go ahead and say the Saints are gonna knock off the Bears. Bears, you already know Mitchell has some problems with throwing that ball around. Pats over the Jets.
Okay.
Pats on the road, coming in against division rival there. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Jets are it's gonna be a close one.
Okay.
It's gonna be close, but I think the Pats are gonna pull this one out on the road. Cowboys, Eagles primetime matchup. We'll touch on this a little bit later, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Cowboys over the Eagles.
Okay.
Ooh, running a little bit tight there. A little bit tight. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Giants over the Cardinals. Daniel Jones.
Okay.
That's all I need to say there. I'm gonna go with Daniel Jones over Kyler Murray right now for this season.
Okay.
Bills, Dolphins. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Bills. We already know Dolphins ain't trying to win right now. And then last but not least, I got the Chargers over the Titans after coming off a bad couple of weeks there for the LA Chargers.
And I'll take fault for some of that time there. I was chanting MVP, you know.
He did take up some of my time.
I did.
I'm glad y'all seen it.
I'll take fault for that. But nonetheless, man, I can agree with a lot of those picks. Not a lot of them, but enough of them. To say that I see where your head is
I think it's a lot. We're going to see.
Okay, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go next, folks. Y'all know how I get down. We're going to start the time right now.
All right.
To start things off, folks, I got the Dolphins losing to the Bills. Nothing more to say right there. Next up, we got the Jags and the Bengals. As you alluded to earlier, we got Jalen Ramsey going over to LA. He's a West Coast guy now. With that being said, I still have the Jags beating the Bengals in Cincinnati. Following that game, we got the Vikings and the Lions. I like this matchup a whole lot. You alluded to this again as far as the Lions going to win because they had a close game against the Packers at Lambeau Field. I happen to believe the very same thing, and I happen to believe because the Vikings had such a good game versus I forget who they played. Since they had such a good game against the Eagles in Philadelphia, that they're actually going to win this game, or lose this game to the Lions. I believe both of these teams struggle with identity. Again, we get into that a little bit later, but I'm going to take the Lions in this game. Following that, we got the Raiders and the Packers. Raiders showing some life, but again, you're at Lambeau Field. I just don't trust that they can get it done at Lambeau Field versus Aaron Rodgers. I don't believe it's going to be close, but I don't believe it's going to be a blowout either. Following that game, we got the Rams and the Falcons. As for the Falcons, Julio, you got paid. Matt Ryan got paid, right? Am I wrong or am I right?
You're right.
I understand
I think they got what they got paid for.
Honestly, I mean, you think it's just a daycare? Get it together. If I'm Quavo, the Migos, Gucci Mane, anybody, I'm doggone dang near boycotting the Falcons game. This is absolutely ridiculous. 1-5? 1-5.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I'm gonna move on. If you haven't noticed, I'm taking the Rams over the Falcons. Next up, we get the Texans and the Colts. Give me the Colts. We get to that game a little bit later. Next, we got the Cardinals and the Giants. I'm going to disagree with you on this. I'm going to take Kyler Murray and the Cardinals over New York in New York. Next up, we got the Chargers and the Titans. Chargers, I love you. You are my favorite team, but you're playing like straight hot garbage right now. And for that reason, I'm taking the Titans over the Chargers in Tennessee. That's a great defense they got going over there. They let James Conner run over them last week, and I believe that Derrick Henry's going to do the same thing. Next up, we got the Saints and the Bears. Very cold city for the Chicago Bears. And so I'm going to take the Bears over the Saints because of the climate. Next up, we got the Ravens and the Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks. Give me the Eagles over the Cowboys. And the Jets over the Patriots, folks. And I know my time is up, but I got to say something right quick. I believe the Jets are going to win over the Patriots in an upset simply because they beat the Dallas Cowboys for their third straight loss in a row. I did take the Eagles over the Cowboys. We're going to dive into that next. But the Cowboys losing to the Jets in Sam Darnold's first game back home since week 1, and they have another game at home this week versus the Patriots. You talk about an incredible defense in the Jets. Jamal Adams and those boys. They're going to beat. I believe they can actually pull off a win over the Patriots in New York.
What's your score on that one?
You know what? It's going to be a low-scoring game because the Patriots have the #1 defense. But the Jets aren't too far behind. They just have some struggles without Sam Darnold running the offense, so they've been on the field a lot. I'm actually going to say that this score is about 24 to 17. 24 to 17. And I say that because this is going to happen. I'm sorry, 24-20. I'm going to say 24-20. And this is the reason why I believe the Patriots are going to get an offensive touchdown. If they're lucky, they'll get a defensive touchdown. Other than that, I think it's going to be straight field goals.
That's tough. So you telling me the #1 defense is going to get lucky?
Yeah,
and score a touchdown.
I believe so because Sam Darnold's in a rhythm. You talk about Robbie Anderson, you talk about Jamison Crowder, you talk about Demaryius Thomas. Very good wide receivers, very good quality wide receivers. Nobody's a standout star here. But you have Le'Veon Bell, who is a standout star. You have Sam Darnold, who is a top draft pick from 2 years ago. But you're talking about a very well put together team and an incredible defense. And I believe they are actually the better defense. They just haven't had the chance to show that because of Trevor Siemian going down after Sam Darnold went down in week 1. And then this Luke Falk guy coming out of nowhere and running third-string quarterback, and he's hot garbage.
I mean, that definitely does matter. Don't get me wrong at all. But we're talking about a team that didn't give up a touchdown the first 2 weeks.
Well, we're also talking about a team that played the Dolphins.
Yeah.
59-0, I believe it was. And who
they played the Steelers the first game.
Yeah.
And with Big Ben playing.
With Big Ben and Juju Smith-Schuster, his first chance at a #1 receiver spot, and James Conner. I don't believe that was a matchup for them. We didn't expect it to be that bad, but I don't believe that was a matchup.
That's what I'm saying.
This isn't your typical AB.
I don't think nobody went into that game thinking they were going to get beat 30-3.
No, definitely not. But again, you're looking at the team. Like I said this when the beginning of the season, before the season started. This is not your regular triple B. This isn't Bell, AB, and Big Ben. This is James Conner, Juju Smith-Schuster, the Fortnite guy, and Big Ben. Okay, and I said that with very lackadaisical and not much enthusiasm because that's what I think of those guys. Not a lot of enthusiasm, not a whole lot of talent like we think they have.
But let's be fair here. Before Antonio Brown became Antonio Brown, there was a guy named Mike Wallace that was their #1 receiver, and they had the same questions for Juju that they had for Antonio at the time. Are you sure you're going to be a #1 receiver? Antonio said he was ready. Now he's a household name. But who's to say Juju won't have that?
I'm not saying he won't have it, but he ain't got it right now. That's what matters.
He also don't have Ben right now.
Yeah, okay.
So
and when he had
him off of 1 game.
And when he had Ben, he also had AB.
That's fair.
Okay, we're going to move on, folks. We're gonna get into these matchups right quick, okay? And so, to start things off, man, I know you went first for the prediction, so I'll go first with my game.
Perfect.
I'm going to go with the Vikings and the Lions. Very simple and to the point here, folks. Look, the Vikings beating the Eagles, beating the dog crap out of the Eagles. There was no soaring high for the Eagles in last week's matchup. Stephon Diggs isn't going to get 3 touchdowns, okay?
Right.
Adam Thielen, yes, that's your regular program. That's your regularly scheduled program. Not Diggs getting 3 touchdowns. They say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. He got it, okay? And he may not get it this week. And will he squeal again? He might. But you ain't gonna go to the game. And I believe for that reason, but they had such a great game in week 6 if they fall off the cliff here because they're inconsistent. The biggest word here for these two teams is inconsistency. And I believe because of the inconsistency that the Vikings are going to lose this game, and because of the inconsistency of the Lions and their will to actually fight with the Packers last week in Lambeau Field, being at home this week, the inconsistency is kind of going to lay off, and then the morale is going to get boosted up because they're playing a team that doesn't have a real identity right now. Defense, not so much, but more than offense. Dalvin Cook is going to get his. I believe they're going to go back to the run game as they did in the first couple of weeks of football. And again, that's my reason for picking the Lions over the Vikings in week 7. I'm sorry.
So, I'm gonna agree with you some there, Levon, but I'm gonna go ahead and differ a little bit because I believe I had said that I think the Lions is gonna blow out the Vikings in this matchup, and that's more so dependent on the defensive matchup that the Vikings are going up against. Last week against Philly, we know Philly has a poor secondary.
Right.
We'll touch on that a little bit more when we get into the Cowboys-Eagles matchup there, but the Lions' secondary is extremely well. They have Pro Bowl corner Darius Slay, so we know he's gonna do good things out there. And I'll just wrap up by saying this: the Lions have one of the best defensive lines in the league. So with that being the case, it's going to be tough for the Vikings to run the ball, and it's going to be tough for them to throw the ball. Vikings already had a game earlier in the year where they only threw 10 passes.
Right.
So I think that lets you know how this game's going to go down. I think the Lions are going to come out on top at home.
I could definitely see that. I think it's going to be a close game, though. But again, we disagree there, but we both have the Lions winning this game.
We'll see who's right.
Next up, you have your matchup, man. Who you going with?
I got the Colts and the Texans. I talked about this a little bit earlier. Touched on the fact that I got the Colts coming out on top. One of the main reasons is how T.Y. just dominates the Texans every time they play them. They can't do anything with them. Last year in the playoffs, he came in with the clown mask, made the whole secondary look like clowns. Like they try to call him a clown, and it's ridiculous how much he kills. It makes no sense because he runs a lot of short routes. He can tear you out over the top, but at the same time, they can't do anything to stop T.Y. And then on top of that, we got Darius Leonard coming back. He's been out since week 1. He's coming back. He's coming back from a concussion this week. Defense is going to look a lot better with their Mike linebacker back in there, their leader on the defensive end coming back this week. That's why I got the Colts coming out on top.
And I have the Colts winning for similar reasons. Darius Leonard being the primary reason, because you talk about a guy that has impact. I always say this in sports. The biggest word in sports is impact. And Darius Leonard has just that. Right. You talk about a team for the Texans that struggles at the offensive line. Gave up 6 sacks to the New Orleans Saints in week 1. That's going to be a problem because Darius Leonard gets out of the quarterback better than anybody I know at the linebacker position. That's why I have the Colts winning this game. You talk about an AFC wild card rematch from last year where the Colts won 21-7. Again, they just have these guys card. It is what it is. Frank Reich's a better coach, and right now, John Watson struggles getting the ball to DeAndre Hopkins for whatever reason. But I believe that changes this game. But if he can't get the ball away, if Darius Leonard is there in his face, he's going to struggle with that in week 7 versus the Colts in Indianapolis. This is going to be a big game. We're going to move on.
Real quick to wrap up. Also, Texans starting right tackle is out for this game.
Exactly.
So that goes right along with your point.
Offensive
it's going to be a field day with Jabal Sheard and Justin Houston.
Definitely. Great game for Justin Houston.
We seen what he did. Yeah, we seen what he did.
Next up, we got the Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm going to let you go first. Please keep it short because I got a lot to say.
All right, well, I'm going to keep it short and simple. I got the Cowboys winning this game. It's going to be a tight game, but one of the main reasons I got the Cowboys winning this game is that Eagles' poor secondary. There are Eagle players coming out reporting that they were up in arms about them not doing anything to trade for Jalen Ramsey or Marcus Peters, any of these corners that are on the market, because there's corners, they can't guard me right now if I run the route. That's why Diggs torched them last week. That's one of the main issues they have on that defense. One of the main issues for Dallas, the last 3 losses they had, they've been playing against really good defenses, if you haven't realized that. They had the Packers, they had the Saints, and then they just lost last week to the Jets. Really good defenses, and they also been having some slow starts. I think with this Eagles' poor secondary, they'll probably get off to a fast start, and they'll be able to come out on top.
You done?
I'll go ahead and let you in. You seem like you had a long soliloquy for the Cowboys.
I've been waiting. I am waiting on this game. I got a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans out there, and I don't know what y'all like to say. Oh, you just like Stephen A. Smith. No. I'll tell you what I'm like. I'm a realist, okay? And what a realist recognizes is that the Dallas Cowboys always do this to themselves. They're an accident waiting to happen. Damn it, they've been an accident since week 4. They started out the season 3-0. Now you're 3-3. I'm telling you right now, Dallas Cowboys, if you lose this game to the Philadelphia Eagles, this is your 4th straight loss. If you lose this game, you will not make the playoffs. And here's why. After the bye week in week 8, this is week 7 we're talking about. Primetime football versus the Eagles at home in D-Town. But after that, you got a bye week in week 8. Following the bye week, you got the New York Giants in New York. Okay, you might win that one. You got the Minnesota Vikings at home. You might win that one. That's a great defense, though.
Yeah,
then you got the Detroit Lions, another great defense, another 50-50 win, 50-50 game. After that, you got the New England Patriots. You got the Buffalo Bills. You got the Chicago Bears. New England and Chicago in Chicago and New England. Okay. Then you got the Los Angeles Rams at home. Then you got the Philadelphia Eagles and Philly. And to close things out, you got the Washington Redskins, which you may win. Folks, I'm telling you now, if you do not win this game to put yourselves above 500, you will not make the playoffs, okay? I stand behind it. I guarantee it. That's a line from American Gangster. And y'all better be gangster in Sunday night's football game or you're going to lose. Because I'm telling you right now, Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. Kellen Moore, he's had some trouble calling the offensive plays. I get it, he's new. Run the damn ball. I help you out. And I'm not even an offensive coordinator. Run the ball with Z. Stop passing on 4th down, okay? Next up, I'm going to tell you right now, again, Dak is not better than Carson Wentz. Dak has to prove himself. Stop trusting Dak so much. Trust Z. Next up, the defense. They got paid, but they're not doing what they got paid to do. The defense has been slacking. They're ranked 9th after being ranked 6th in preseason. Not terrible, but it damn sure ain't what we expected from the Dallas Cowboys.
That's true.
After that, Jason Garrett, you're safe. And why is Jason Garrett safe? Because he doesn't make a damn call. You can't get fired if you ain't making no damn calls, okay? Next up, we got the Eagles. You need to run the ball with Jordan Howard if you want to win the game. You did it against Green Bay. You need to do it in this game because that front 7 is suspect. I just said they got paid and they ain't doing what they're supposed to be getting paid to do. Running the ball down the throats of the Dallas Cowboys. After that, folks, I'm going to tell you this. The Cowboys, they rank 7th in penalties.
Ooh.
7th in penalties. 10 of those 48 penalties, total 48 penalties, have been from holding, offensive holding. 6 of those penalties have been from defensive holding. They have the best offensive line in the damn league. Why are you holding? Okay? Get it together. That's what I got to say about the Dallas Cowboys. Get it together.
That sounded real personal.
It's personal.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that the Cowboys is definitely winning this game. Doug Peterson guaranteed it. Well, I'm going to guarantee it for the Cowboys. They definitely winning this game, and you will see Jason Garrett getting some high fives this week.
Oh, yeah. He gets all
He's
the
going to get
love.
some high fives.
He always gets
They ain't
love.
passing them this week because they winning this one.
I like to see it. Wait, man. I enjoyed this episode, man.
I did too.
It was definitely
a pleasure,
hey,
man.
It was great having
It
you,
was a
brother.
pleasure.
I
It was a
appreciate you
pleasure.
coming on. Folks, that's a wrap for another episode of Sports Wit. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode. Remember this, folks. A record, whether good or bad, doesn't always equal or amount to the talent of a team. But it will keep your behind out of the playoffs. It will keep you from advancing into the postseason after the regular season if you don't do what you're supposed to do. Get your record together. Y'all be safe and stay blessed. Y'all keep it easy. What's going on, folks? It's your Sports Wit host here, Levon Whitaker. I just want you all to know to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, be sure to follow me on sportswit.com. Thank you.